Tired of feeling stuck, unseen, or like your body isn't yours anymore? It's time for a reset. Welcome to An Ageless Life, the midlife reset show, where science, movement, and mindset help you feel strong, energized, and like yourself. I'm Devi, a clinical pharmacist, Argentine tango dancer and instructor, and your guide for redefining how women thrive and grow in midlife and beyond. Let's get started. Self-care as sensuality. The untold science of feeling alive again. When people talk about the word self-care, they picture a bubble bath, scented candles, maybe once a year massage. That's great. But the truth is, self-care isn't a special occasion. It's not something that you wait until you're burned out to do. Real self-care is an everyday occurrence. It's the small choices that you make to keep you moving without pain, so you can think clearly, you can feel good in your own skin. And for postmenopausal women, this becomes even more important. Hormone shifts, sleep changes, and stress can dull your senses and leave you feeling disconnected. Self-care is how you reconnect. For me, I see someone every 3 weeks to keep my body aligned. It's not an indulgence, it's a strategy. I want to sleep well. I want to move with ease. I want to think clearly and dance tango to the best of my ability. And the investment is well worth it. One of my clients had a super stressful job. She was eating meals very quickly and often on the run. And she never really felt satisfied, and she couldn't figure out why she was overeating. The reason? She wasn't giving her senses time to create this feeling of satiety. She was fueling, but she wasn't tasting it or smelling it or savoring it. She didn't know if what she was eating was what her body needed. Her body never was able to give her the sign to say enough because she'd already eaten so much. Then there's Luann. She was snacking on a bag of Oreos at her desk, working hard, meeting a deadline, and suddenly she stopped. She looked down at the bag. She'd eaten the entire thing without noticing. It wasn't that she was hungry. It wasn't that she was starving. It was because she wasn't present and connected to what it was she was eating. Both of these women were missing the point of self-care, and it's about presence. It's about engaging your senses. Most of us grew up knowing that you have 5 senses, right? Well, actually, we have about 24 at least. Beyond sight, touch, feel, hearing, and taste, we have hunger, thirst, balance, temperature, body awareness, and even the sensation that tells you when you're full. These are subtle. There's also a subtle awareness of the clothing that you're wearing on your skin, vibration, and so many more. When you rush through a meal or eat mindlessly or senselessly, you shut off most of those senses. When you slow down, invite them back in, you wake up your body. And when you wake up your senses, you wake up. So let's try an experiment. And we're going to do this with eating. It's about sensory eating. So I call this a sensory eating exercise. You start out by placing your food on a plate or in a bowl, not plastic or paper. Use real flatware. And even if it's fast food, honor it by taking it out of the wrapper and giving it a place on the plate. Add a glass of something to drink. And if you want, you can elevate it a bit and add a cloth napkin. Not required, but again, it signals that eating is something special. So we're going to start with step 1. Step 1 is to actually, before you take that first bite, look at your food. Look at how it is placed on the plate. Look at the colors, the textures, all of those things, and let yourself feel invited to eat. You may notice that your mouth starts to water. Your body begins to wake up, preparing itself to eat. Step 2, smell. Now bring the plate closer to you. I like to close my eyes and inhale. Let the aroma meet you. Notice what happens. Your stomach may growl a little bit. It may tighten. It may feel that wave of anticipation. Smelling food isn't throwing away a moment. It is cueing to your brain that says something nourishing is coming. And how many of us have childhood memories in which we remember smelling some food and it really bringing that taste of whatever it is? For me, it was my grandmother used to make cinnamon rolls. When I was walking down the sidewalk to go up to her house, I could smell them. My mouth started watering, and I was so excited because I knew I was going to have a fresh cinnamon roll. Um, Step 3, taste and touch. So take that first bite slowly. Notice the feel of the fork or the spoon against your lips. Notice the textures of the food as it meets your tongue and your mouth. It might be the softness of the bread, the crispness of the lettuce, the tomato. Notice the contrast between warm and cool. Pay attention to how your body reacts. This is also touch, not with your hands, but with the inside of your mouth. And step 4 is chew. As you chew, notice how the flavor shifts or deepens. At first, it might be one thing, and then gradually it unfolds to something else. People talk about this a lot with wine, about what's the first note, the middle, the end, what is the tail of whatever it is that you're having. The same thing happens with food that we eat. Chewing also helps to break down the food to help with digestion. It gives your brain the time it needs to recognize fullness. It's your body's way of saying, I see we're eating. I've got the message. Thank you very much. And step 5 is savor. Keep going this way, bite, bite, bite. Notice the sights, the smells, the textures, the flavors as they change. Some bites will surprise you. Some may comfort you. All of them are part of the experience. And here's the beauty of doing this every time you eat, not just at dinner, not just when you have time, every meal, every snack. Some things to think about are eating sitting down. One of my clients bought a new car and she decided she would have the rule, no more eating behind the wheel. And she found at first that this was going to be kind of difficult, but then she made it simple because she started planning her meals and planning time to eat instead of grabbing food and being on autopilot and not enjoying it. Extend what we just did to your beverage. Try it with your morning coffee, your glass of water, any beverage that you sip while you're working or when you're not. Look at it, smell it, taste it slowly. Let yourself notice. Is it cold? Is it hot? Does it feel refreshing? Does it feel like it's grounding? How does it feel? When you do this, food becomes more than fuel. It becomes presence. You find you're satiated earlier, you enjoy more, and often you eat less. Not because you're restricting yourself, but because you're finally listening to what your body has to tell you. This is what sensuality as self-care looks like. It's not an extravagance. It's about presence. When you allow yourself to fully experience the colors, the textures, the smell, the taste of food and or a meal, you're not just feeding your body, but you're waking up all of your senses. And for a woman in midlife or postmenopause, awakening your senses can feel like a lifeline. It helps your brain stay sharp. Your digestion works better. Your body truly feels satisfied. And that's the real reset. Self-care isn't an escape from life. It's the way you live it to feel good think clear, and move through your day with energy and ease. Next week, we're going to go into an even deeper dive into a sense that people really don't know much about. They may never have even heard of it. It's called interoception, and that's your body's ability to notice what's happening on the inside, be it hunger, thirst, fatigue, emotions, stress. Only when you learn to tune in to this inner compass, it will change everything. So be sure to come back for episode 14, where we'll explore this unknown, or for some, forgotten sense, and how we begin to help you feel more balanced, energized, and more alive. That's it for today.
That's it for this reset. Thank you for spending this time with me. If today's episode gave you something to think about, I'd love to have you subscribe so you never miss what's next. And remember to grab your free gift, your midlife superpower, 5 simple power moves to feel like yourself again. The address for this is, or link is, anagelesslife.com/superpower. Thanks again. Bye-bye.